You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here with our Monday Night Raw review from March 28th, 2022. Of course, it is the go-home show before this weekend's WrestleMania 38. Did this go-home show deliver? I'm going to give you my straight-up answer right now, and the answer is no. It's just a cold, hard no. This was not a good go-home show whatsoever for WrestleMania. It's going to be happening this week. Really, this week is absolutely busy. There's a lot of crap going on right now during this whole week. Of course, we got Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite. NXT just happened, which I did not watch. I still will be planning on watching NXT Stand and Deliver. We got the Ring of Honor show happening. I think GCW has a couple of spring break shows going on as well. We got WrestleMania. Of course, we got the Hall of Fame. We got so much stuff going on. But overall, when it comes to Raw, I felt like this show did not deliver whatsoever. Of course, this was dubbed WrestleMania Raw, which I thought was really stupid, by the way, mainly because of the fact that they basically gave half of the freaking WrestleMania card straight up on the show. And also, WWE does not care about the brand split anymore, so we had a lot of SmackDown guys on the show as well, with really no explanation whatsoever. Granted, it is called WrestleMania Raw, but it still makes no sense. It's the go-home show before WrestleMania, but don't call it WrestleMania Raw. They're going to do the same thing with SmackDown as well this coming Friday, which I will be reviewing. Same thing as Rampage. I was still debating on whether I should watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, because I will be purchasing the pay-per-view, because I'm really excited to see what happens when it comes to that Ring of Honor show. But we got SmackDown, we got Rampage, and the Hall of Fame happening, so I'm most likely going to be watching those shows. But yeah, they dubbed it WrestleMania Raw, which honestly to me was kind of dumb. But I'll talk about more of that later on right here on the Raw review. We had Roman Reigns on the show, which is basically like the only saving grace. Seth Rollins has a WrestleMania opponent, which we all know who it is. Adrenaline in my soul, everybody. Adrenaline in my soul. But yeah, we got the Raw review. But before I get on with the Raw review, make sure to like and subscribe to the Broken Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. All right, let's start off with Raw. So Raw starts off with Brock Lesnar. Of course, Brock Lesnar is the WWE champion, and he will be wrestling in the main event of WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, title for title. It is not an official unification match, but they will unify the titles. So they will merge both titles, but it's only going to be temporary. It's not going to be a permanent thing, which I think is kind of dumb. They did that same thing with the women's titles a couple of years ago. I do not know why. If you're going to merge both titles, you should just damn well unify the whole thing and just make it one championship. I feel like having two world titles, especially now considering the fact that the brand split is a complete joke, is ridiculous, but whatever. We got Brock Lesnar kicking off Raw, and overall, my thoughts on his promo, I thought it was pretty good. Did it get me a little bit hyped for his match? No, not really. Granted, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is one of those matches that I'm actually really excited for, but let's be straight up. Roman Reigns is the one to go over. There's no chance in hell Roman Reigns is going to be losing that match. He's going to be holding both titles after WrestleMania. But Brock Lesnar comes out. Michael Cole, by the way, is the special guest commentator. So we had the normal Raw commentary team of Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, and Jimmy Smith. But also SmackDown's Michael Cole is also on commentary as well, which I do not know why. Mainly because you had a lot of SmackDown talent right here on this show. But yeah, Michael Cole's on commentary. Brock Lesnar does your typical babyface Raw opening segment, welcoming everybody to Monday Night Raw. Like literally, it's a common occurrence almost every week where literally you have it's most likely a babyface. It's never a heel, but when it's always a babyface opening up the show, you always have like literally them always like screaming, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw!" Like, bro, we already know what show we're freaking watching. You know what I'm saying? But granted, he said that sucks, so that was pretty funny. So he welcomes everybody to Monday Night Raw, and says that your WWE champion is in the house. So after he welcomed everybody to Raw, he said that it felt good, but it felt like it sucked. So what he doesn't suck at is handing out country ass kickings. After that, he talks about how they're going to take a trip down memory lane, down the streets of Suplex City. Then he introduces them to the old beast of Broadway. After that, they will hit a carnival. They will go on a ride in the F5, in which nobody will survive the F5. Meanwhile, Brock is given the what chance. So at this point, Brock is given those stone cold what chance. And bro, this is like a common occurrence. Like, I mean, the what chants have been happening for like over 20 years now. But like, let's be straight up. I mean, like, I'm kind of grown sick and tired of these what chants, especially if it's a segment that is really good. We constantly get those what chants, and I'm like, bro, these fans need to shut the hell up with these what chants. Sometimes if a segment is bad, okay, I will accept those what chants. But like, I love the fact that, you know, Brock Lesnar called out on the what chants. Same thing as Eddie Kingston. If you guys don't remember, Eddie Kingston, I believe it was that segment he had with Jericho a couple of weeks before their match at Full Gear, where he got that what chant, which was hilarious. No. It was after Revolution, no, never mind. It was after Revolution, where Eddie Kingston called out the fans saying, yeah, the what chants, even though that was a fantastic segment. I believe that was a segment where it was the Dynamite after Revolution. I thought it was the one before. No, it was after Revolution. But Eddie Kingston also got the what chants as well. But Brock Lesnar in this segment, he basically says that Steve will be there too, and says that he's an ass kicker like him, but he didn't kick his ass, which is pretty funny. After that, after their carnival ride, this is where the fun begins. He talks about how there will be a wedding, and there will be wedding crashers, and his title is going to marry his title, and it's going to have a baby, and that baby is going to be the unified title. That's a weird thing to say, in my opinion. And Brock Lesnar says that he has full custody of that. It says that he's in a great mood tonight, and in 6 days he will get his hands on Roman Reigns, and says that there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide this Sunday at WrestleMania. He's going to stand above him with 2 titles, and then raise them both to the sky, and he will chant, or I should say the people will chant, ladies and gentlemen, and new undisputed unified heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar. And when he says Lesnar, his voice cracked, which every time when he does that, I swear to God, I laugh my ass off whenever Brock Lesnar's voice cracks, whenever he literally like does his Paul Heyman introduction. That was absolutely funny. I always laugh my ass off whenever Brock Lesnar does that whole voice cracking thing. I don't know why. What are my overall thoughts on this segment? Overall, I actually thought the segment was pretty good. It was a weird promo. I will admit that. It was definitely a weird promo. But, of course, this is the go-home show for WrestleMania, and you also had Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Or not on SmackDown, on Raw as well. So, I mean, if I were to compare the two promos, obviously Roman Reigns' promo was so much better. But I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love the character that Brock Lesnar is having right now. I love the current character of Brock Lesnar. I think this is the character that he should have had for the past couple of years, but we never got that, mainly because of the fact that Paul Heyman was the one on the microphone. But overall, man, this was not a bad promo. Was it amazing? No, but I thought it was okay. Definitely, though, Roman Reigns' promo was 10 times better. All right. Here is where the shit kicks in and the show starts to go downhill. So our first match of the evening is The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. So you're basically giving away half of the tag team match at WrestleMania. And by all means, like literally, almost all of the matches on this show are either rematches or half of the undercard for WrestleMania, which is absolutely retarded. I don't know why they do that, but they're calling this WrestleMania Raw, but this is nothing but WrestleMania. But so we got Miz versus Rey Mysterio. Of course, Miz last week on Raw he stole the mask of Rey Mysterio and he gave it to Logan Paul. Miz cuts a promo and talks about how he imagines Rey as an incredible outfit for WrestleMania. And he talks about his favorite one that he took from him last week. I didn't know that mask that he took was from a outfit that he usually wears at WrestleMania. Because usually during WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio would always have like a special like comic book hero attire. I remember, I think it was WrestleMania 27 where he had Captain America. WrestleMania 20, he had the Flash. WrestleMania 19, he had, I believe it was Daredevil. Like Rey Mysterio had always had some badass ring attire during WrestleMania. I'm not going to lie. But he talks about that. And he imagines he wants it back, but he doesn't have it, mainly because of the fact that he gave the mask to Logan Paul. Logan Paul comes out with the freaking mask. Rey Mysterio then comes out, and then the match starts. Miz takes out Rey from the outside. Once we're back from commercial break, Miz and Rey are on the top. Rey Mysterio then takes Miz down. We get a senton by Rey. Miz goes for a sunset flip, but then Rey hits a kick. We get a knee by Rey, but Miz gains control. Rey escapes a powerbomb. We get a roll-up by Rey, and he wins the match. Then Dominic takes Logan Paul into the ring. Then he lands onto the middle rope, and they're about to hit the double 619, but Logan Paul retreats. Then after that, they take the mask away from Logan Paul, and then they attack the Miz and take him to the middle rope. And then Miz is unfortunately on the ending hand of a double 619. And then Dominic goes to the top and hits a frog splash. And then Rey hits a frog splash, and yeah, that's that. Overall, Logan Paul and The Miz taking on the Mysterios is one of those matches that I'm absolutely not interested in my opinion. In fact, out of all the things you could have put the Mysterios in, this would have been the last thing I would have put the Mysterios in. In my opinion, what I would have done for WrestleMania is have the Mysterios face each other, father versus son at WrestleMania. I would have absolutely loved that, but of course WWE does not like being creative, so they're not going to do that. But overall, what are my thoughts on this match/segment? I didn't care, mainly because of the fact that I just do not care about Logan Paul wrestling at WrestleMania. Literally, 3 of the matches on the WrestleMania card is celebrities. You got Johnny Knoxville wrestling in a freaking match. Yes, Johnny Knoxville from Jackass. And then you got freaking Logan Paul, who's going to be wrestling. And you got Pat McAfee, who I wouldn't necessarily say is a celebrity, but, I mean, he is part of the SmackDown commentary team. And not only that, he also proved himself in the ring. So maybe I should take Pat McAfee out of this equation, mainly because of the fact that I'm a fan of Pat McAfee. But still, like, literally, you don't have any matches for the Intercontinental Championship or the U.S. title, but you insert these guys for WrestleMania. I do understand that WrestleMania throughout the years did have celebrity involvement, but still, considering the fact that you do not have matches for the IC Championship or the U.S. title, but you got these types of matches for WrestleMania, I mean, I'm sorry, but that is an absolute complete joke in my opinion. And I'm also reading my notes from my phone, mainly because of the fact that I couldn't literally, I couldn't airdrop my freaking notes onto my laptop, which pissed me off so bad. So bear with me, everybody. All right, so we got a video package of Seth Rollins at WWE headquarters. And Rollins has a match. So he goes into WWE headquarters. And, of course, last week he lost via DQ in his match with AJ Styles, which, of course, Seth Rollins was going to lose. It was pretty obvious that AJ was still going to be wrestling Edge. I understand what they did. It was for the story of Seth Rollins. But at the same time, if you really look at the stipulation at hand on that match last week in retrospect, really the stipulation is kind of stupid. Mainly because of the fact that AJ is wrestling Edge and they're currently feuding. So why the hell is AJ putting his match on the line? It makes no sense. But of course, this is for Seth Rollins, and basically this is for Seth Rollins' storyline, which I get why they did that, but at the same time, it just made no sense if you really look at it like deeper. Like, it makes no sense. But of course, Seth Rollins lost because of the fact that Edge cost AJ. Well, I shouldn't say cost AJ the match, mainly because of the fact that AJ won via DQ. But still, I mean, like, AJ won the match via DQ when Edge interfered. So the video package showed Seth Rollins, and this, by the way, was uploaded on their social media before, like, hours before Raw. And I saw it, and I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed what I saw. So basically, Seth Rollins goes into Mr. McMahon's office, and Mr. McMahon tells him, you know, you could have just asked me instead of going through all those, like, loops and all that stuff. But he gives him a match, but it's going to be against a mystery opponent. And it's going to be, I believe, WrestleMania Saturday. And I'm not going to lie, man, Night 1 of WrestleMania looks 10 times better than Night 2. Night 1 is so much better. I remember last year, I went to WrestleMania Night 1, and Night 1 was a fantastic show. Granted, there were some things on the show I didn't like, but for the WrestleMania experience, which was my second WrestleMania I've ever attended, I enjoyed what I watched. Night 2 was kind of I didn't enjoy Night 2 as much as I did Night 1. Hopefully, I mean, that's most likely going to be the case this weekend. Night 1 is going to be much better than Night 2, mainly because of the fact that the card on Night 1 is so much better. But Seth Rollins has a match against a mystery opponent. And let's be honest, we all know who Seth Rollins' opponent is. WWE has signed Cody Rhodes already. It's going to be Cody Rhodes. And one thing, and this is going to be my thing with Cody Rhodes, when they bring in Cody Rhodes, when he comes out, he better come out. Nothing changed. They better not change a single thing of Cody Rhodes when he was in AEW. Literally, keep everything Cody Rhodes that he was in AEW, keep it all the same. His theme music, his ring attire, everything. Keep it the same. Mainly because of the fact that Cody Rhodes right now is one of the hottest acts in wrestling right now. And if you change him, there's no hope for Cody Rhodes. If you're paying Cody Rhodes $3 to $4 or $5 million a year, you better do something with him. And most likely, Cody Rhodes is going to be going over in the match, because it would make no sense if you're bringing back Cody Rhodes, if you signed him to a contract and he's one of the AEW EVPs. I mean, by all means, literally, have him go over Seth Rollins And you better push him to the moon if you're paying him all that freaking money. But it's most likely going to be Cody Rhodes, and honestly, it's going to be a freaking awesome-ass match. I'm definitely excited, 100%. I mean, that match is absolutely going to be insane. And the reaction that Cody Rhodes is going to be getting at AT&T Stadium is going to be insane. I mean, this is a guy, for the past couple of months on AEW television, has been getting booed out of the building. Like, for God's sakes, I remember in Chicago, when AEW had Dynamite in Chicago a couple of months ago, and Cody was in the main event, he literally threw his belts to the crowd, and then the crowd threw it back. That's how much the AEW audience hated Cody Rhodes during that period of time. But hopefully that's not going to be the case. But Cody Rhodes, I definitely do see them pushing Cody Rhodes to the moon, in my opinion. But Seth Rollins' opponent, it's going to be a mystery opponent, but we all know who the mystery opponent is. It's going to be Cody Rhodes. All right. Omas. Yes, Omas versus the Viking Raiders, who are SmackDown talent. Basically, he basically buried the Viking Raiders. What can I tell you? He no-sells Eric multiple times. We got a clothesline. Eric is on the outside. Omas literally wins via countout, which, I mean, he wins via countout. What a way to embarrass the Viking Raiders. Whatever. So, he gets interviewed, and I swear to God, man, these interviewers, especially on Raw, man, on SmackDown, I mean, not really, but it's really on Raw. I swear to God, these interviews, and it's not their fault. I mean, they ask the most dumbest questions ever, okay? They just do. For the past couple of weeks, I don't know what, but just pissed me off, man. Like, every time when an interviewer asks a question on Raw, backstage, I swear to God, I nod when I hear these questions. I'm like, what kind of a question is that? That is a dumb question you're asking. But, yeah, after that, he gets interviewed and says that there's no one that can basically step up to him, and he will dominate everybody. Bobby Lashley. Yes, Bobby Lashley is back, coming back from injury. So he comes out. Omas shoves Lashley, but then Lashley goes for a shoulder tackle. Omas no-sells, and then he takes Bobby Lashley to the corner. So they basically just take turns on taking shots at each other. And then Lashley takes out Omas. So it's official. We're going to be getting Omas versus Bobby Lashley. I believe it's going to be night 2 of WrestleMania. I got to look back at the WrestleMania card for both nights. I will be giving you guys my WrestleMania predictions on Friday, mainly because of the fact that Thursday is going to be my AEW Dynamite review, and tomorrow on Wednesday is going to be New Shock Episode 9, which I was supposed to upload on Monday, but I never got around in doing it, mainly because of the fact that I was in class all freaking day. But yeah, New Shock Episode 9 will be uploaded tomorrow, and I'll talk about Triple H. I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff headed towards WrestleMania. My WrestleMania predictions will be uploaded on Friday. Of course, we got the SmackDown and Rampage review on Saturday. WrestleMania is going to happen that Saturday as well, so hopefully I will upload my review right after WrestleMania. If not, it's going to be on a Sunday, and then, of course, WrestleMania Night 2, the review will be uploaded on Monday. But that's going to be my schedule, most likely, because it's going to be a busy week, especially, of course, this week is the biggest week in wrestling. Of course, we got WrestleMania happening. There's a lot of other events happening. I'm going to be watching Supercard of Honor, which I'm definitely excited to see what happens, and I'm really excited to see what AEW is going to be doing with Ring of Honor. We got NXT Stand and Deliver, which I do not watch NXT, but I will be watching NXT Stand and Deliver, which I believe will air at 12 noon this Sunday. I believe that's going to be the case. But yeah. After that, Lashley versus Omas debacle, which I just did not care about. Reggie proposes backstage to Dana Brooke, and then Tozawa after that proposes to Tamina. They both say yes. Typical 24/7 garbage, which nobody cares about. All right, now here's where the good shit happens. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline are on Raw. So, Roman Reigns cuts a promo, and I'm not going to lie, the promo that Roman Reigns cut, I absolutely enjoyed. I loved what I saw. Roman Reigns has been really good ever since he turned heel 2 years ago. The guy has been fantastic with his promos. Bar none, he has been fantastic with his promos. Not only that, you can really sense that this is this is the character of Roman Reigns. This is bro, this feels real. Roman Reigns is awesome at what he does. So he asks Pittsburgh to acknowledge him, and says that he was going to come out here and tell you how he was the head of Raw until Fox came in to save SmackDown. Then he says that he has done everything in this business except one thing, and then Roman Reigns. So while he was cutting his promo, the funny thing about this was Roman Reigns, and as I talked about earlier with the Brock promo, there were a lot of what chants, especially with those two promos. Roman Reigns called out those what promos, and I'm like, bro, I swear to God, if you guys chant those what chants, and says that he will smash y'all like he would Steve Austin. So that's another shot at Steve Austin. Like Brock Lesnar took one shot at Steve Austin, and Roman Reigns took another shot at Steve Austin, and says like just like he would Brock Lesnar. He's done everything except beating him at WrestleMania, and that pisses him off. We get those Suplex City chants, and he talks about Brock Lesnar, and he talks about what really bothers him about Brock Lesnar is just a couple of weeks ago, he was out for blood, and it was personal. But he has already spilled his blood. Talks about how in 2018 they faced each other at WrestleMania, and he busted his head wide open. He smashed his face to a point his children didn't even recognize him. His family doubted him, and says that they will take everything from Brock Lesnar. And this Sunday, he will make his final move and take his title. And then Brock is going to know what it's going to be like to make it personal, because he will make it personal because it has always been personal to him. So, yeah, that was Roman Reigns' promo. Overall, I enjoyed the promo that Roman Reigns cut. Every time when Roman Reigns is on the show, most likely, of course, he's a SmackDown guy, so it's very rare where he is on Raw now. I'm not going to lie, man. Roman Reigns, by far, this is like the best thing of the entire show. And Brock Lesnar's promo, to me, wasn't that bad. But holy shit, like, this promo was actually really good. I don't care what anybody says. I enjoyed this promo for what it was. Roman Reigns is literally by far the best thing on WWE television, even still after 2 years. That's just my opinion. But after the Roman Reigns promo, we get Zelina and Carmella backstage taking photo shoots. And they talk about swerving everybody backstage. So, like, Zelina literally went from her having a British accent to having her normal accent, which is really cringeworthy. And here's a pure example of giving half of a WrestleMania match. We got Sasha Banks, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan taking on Carmella, Zelina, and Shayna Baszler. You basically got the whole Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship match. And as I've always stated, the Women's Tag Team Championships mean absolutely nothing, mainly because of the fact that there are no actual women's tag teams on the women's division. That's just the cold hard truth. But overall, what are my thoughts on this match? I just did not care about the match whatsoever. We got a drop kick by Rhea Ripley. Naomi tags in. She works on Natalya. Natalya fights back. We got a double team by both Shayna and Natalya. And one thing I will say, why is Shayna Baszler and Natalya a tag team together? Like, what is the story behind that? They just literally just came in out of nowhere and just declared that they were a freaking tag team. What is the story behind Shayna Baszler and Natalya? I'm going to give you that answer right now. Nothing. All right. So Zelina tags in. She works on Naomi into the corner. Naomi fights back. We get she drops Zelina Vega into the corner. We get a double team by Sasha Banks and Naomi. We get a cover by Naomi, who is the legal woman, and a near fall. And then Carmella makes the save when there was the near fall. Liv Morgan hits the enziguri. We get a clothesline by Natalya. Carmella hits a super kick. Zelina then sends Sasha to the barricade. Zelina then drives her knee to Sasha into the barricade once we're back from commercial break. Carmella goes for a side headlock on Sasha. Sasha proceeds to fight back. Sasha then hits the backstabber on Carmella. Then Sasha wants to make the tag, but the heels take out the baby faces from the apron. Then Carmella tags Shayna Baszler. Shayna then drags Sasha when she wants to go for the tag, but she proceeds to take out Naomi. Then she sends Sasha into the corner. She applies a leg lock. Natalya then tags in. She hits a clothesline, but then Zelina Vega takes Natalya out. We get a cover and a near fall. Zelina then proceeds to argue with Shayna Baszler. Then Naomi tags in. Rhea tags in after that. Then she hits the riptide on Zelina. We get a cover, and Sasha, Naomi, Rhea, and Liv Morgan win this women's tag team match, which is basically the WrestleMania match that you're going to be getting this. I believe it's either night one or night two. I don't even know when this match is going to be happening. I don't know which night this match is going to happen. But overall, what was the point of this match? Mainly because of the fact that we're going to be seeing this Fatal 4-Way match. Like, this match, even though it's a normal 8-woman tag team match, it's still involving all of the women that's going to be involved in the women's tag team Fatal 4-Way match at WrestleMania. So you're basically giving this whole match away before WrestleMania. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it is what it is. Like, if you're going to be giving a match before a pay-per-view, at least have some story aspect to it. To me, they're just doing it for the sake of doing it. That's just my opinion. Mainly because of the fact that we've been seeing rematches for the past, like, how many months on WWE television, on both Raw and SmackDown. Like, we've been seeing rematches and just them just hot-shotting. I don't even want to say hot-shot, but, like, just them just putting out, like, you know, matches that are going to be happening on the pay-per-view. And this is multiple matches that are going to be happening on the pay-per-view. The majority of this Raw card is literally half of the undercard for WrestleMania. That's what it basically is. So I'm, like, questioning why the hell are they doing this? And I mean, like, AEW did it with Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, but that was completely different, mainly because of the fact that Kenny had multiple championships and he had the Impact Championship, and Christian Cage, it made sense, in my opinion, for Christian Cage, even though they were going to be wrestling at All Out, to me, it made sense, mainly because of the fact that Christian Cage had a history in Impact Wrestling. But in this case, they're just putting out literally whatever. They basically gave you half of the WrestleMania card. All right. We get a video package, a badass video package of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I absolutely love that video package that they put out. Kevin Owens is in the ring, and he puts over the production team on the video package for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Says his tribute last week was much better. And says people say that he was mocking him, but they were lying. That was paying him homage to Steve Austin. That wasn't him lying. That wasn't him lying and paying tribute to Steve Austin. He gave everyone a favor because he was dressing up as Steve Austin is the closest thing that we will get to the old Stone Cold Steve Austin. That Stone Cold has been gone for 19 years and he ain't ever coming back. At WrestleMania, it's going to be Stone Cold. It's not going to be Stone Cold, I should say. It's going to be Steve. The same Steve has been drinking himself into oblivion for 19 years. The same guy that begs people to go on his podcast. He still looks and sounds like Stone Cold because he knows he has to. Steve is not coming to the Kevin Owens show to pick a fight with him because he knows damn well what would happen. He's coming to the KO show to have a conversation of his career. KO says that he will be giving him the biggest platform of his career and says that he hates beer, but he will drink one beer with him. They will get to drink together and they will toast and to Steve Austin to finally passing the torch to Kevin Owens as the new Stone Cold because he's the new master of the stunner because his stunner is better than his, which, if I can't recall, didn't Steve Austin pass the torch to the John Cena in the 2009 Hall of Fame? I mean, I'm just curious because I believe that was the case. He passed the torch to John Cena. But after that, it says that he warned Steve Austin if he tries to get funny with him and there's going to be a stunner, but he will be on the receiving end of it. And then he will pour one of his beers all over his carcass and open up a big fat can of whoop ass. Overall thoughts on this segment, Kevin Owens is completely hilarious. This guy entertains me every freaking week on Raw. And I'm not going to lie, I'm actually really excited for this. And it's official. They're actually, well, now granted, this is not a match. This is a talk show that's going to happen on WrestleMania. It's going to be the last thing that happens on night one. Thank God. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, that match, even though probably the match is going to be okay, like the entire build for Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey absolutely sucked. First off, Ronda Rousey sounds like she doesn't want to be there. Charlotte Flair at least is putting the effort, but like Ronda Rousey is just there, completely lazy. But literally, if that main evented night one, I swear to God, people are just going to sleep on that match. Mainly because that match, the build for that entire match is absolutely garbage. So I support the decision for the Kevin Owens show to be the last thing that happens on night one for WrestleMania. I support that mainly because the build for Charlotte versus Ronda has been absolutely atrocious. But yeah, man, a lot of people are saying this is going to lead to a match maybe for between KO and Steve Austin on night two. Again, I believe that Steve Austin will be getting physical, but I don't think he's going to be wrestling an official match. 100% Steve Austin is getting physical in this talk show segment, but in no way, shape, or form he's going to wrestle an actual match, mainly because of the fact that his last match was against The Rock, and that was all the way back in 2003 at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle. So, like, honestly, like, it would make no sense for Steve Austin to immediately come out to retirement and just beat Kevin Owens. I think it's just going to be a generic talk show segment, and Steve Austin is just going to get physical and hits him the stunner. But, yeah, after that, we got Austin Theory versus the Intercontinental Champion Ricochet. Now, of course, Ricochet a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown beat Sami Zayn to win the Intercontinental Championship in the opening match of that SmackDown, which, by the way, was absolutely awesome. I absolutely enjoy that match. That was literally one of the best opening matches in recent memory, in my opinion, for the WWE. But one problem I had with that match was the fact that, it involved Johnny Knoxville literally distracting Sami Zayn for Ricochet to get the win, which is kind of embarrassing for Ricochet if you really look at it in retrospect. But, I mean, I understand that they were trying to do that to build Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. But at the same time, it's the Intercontinental Championship we're talking about. And speaking of the Intercontinental Championship, bro, the Intercontinental Championship has absolutely no match at WrestleMania. Yes, There is no match at WrestleMania. I believe I didn't finish watching SmackDown, and I didn't review SmackDown. I did watch Rampage, but I didn't finish watching SmackDown. Neither I did a review for the both shows, which was my fault. But I believe he was wrestling one of the members of Los Lotharios, and I believe Ricochet lost, which is ridiculous. And he wrestles Austin Theory, and Austin Theory beats the Intercontinental Champion clean in less than 5 minutes. And I'm like, are you serious right now? This is the IC champion we're talking about. This is supposed to be like your secondary, like this is your main important mid-card championship. And, he immediately loses to Austin Theory. I'm like, are you joking with me right now? This is absolutely stupid. Not only that, it doesn't even have a match on the official WrestleMania card. Now, granted, WWE is dubbing this Friday's SmackDown as WrestleMania SmackDown in Dallas, in which they're going to have the Intercontinental Championship on the line in a triple threat match with Los Lotharios, and they're going to have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That's not on the official WrestleMania card. They're going to put that shit on SmackDown, which I don't understand why. But, granted, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is really a joke. If you really look at it, it really did not escalate anybody. Remember when Cesaro won it? Did that push him to the moon? No, it did not. But, again, the Intercontinental Championship should have a spot on the main WrestleMania card, and it's not. Meanwhile, you got the champion in Ricochet who lost to Austin Theory in less than 5 minutes. So how can I take Ricochet seriously? I can't. I cannot take him seriously. So you got Ricochet who loses to Austin Theory in 5 minutes. He's not on the actual WrestleMania card, and what the hell are they going to do? I propose that they should do a ladder match for, at WrestleMania for the IC Championship. Either opening up night 1 or open up night 2. Instead, we got freaking Bobby Lashley versus Omas, and Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Yeah, way to go. That is definitely more interesting than a freaking ladder match. I'm sorry, but Austin is in control. We got a fall away slam by Theory. We got a rolling shotgun drop kick. We got a springboard clothesline by Ricochet. Ricochet then hits the standing moonsault. Austin then picks up Ricochet. But Ricochet escapes into a drop kick. He goes to the top, and then Austin goes to the top rope, dropping Ricochet. Austin then picks up Ricochet and hits the ATL, and he gets to the win. Overall, what the hell was the point? Of course, Austin Theory is going to be wrestling. He's going to be wrestling Pat McAfee, which I think is going to be a really entertaining match at WrestleMania. But again, the Intercontinental Championship is supposed to have a main, literally it's supposed to be on the main WrestleMania card, and it's not. Same as the U.S. champion. The U.S. title is not even going to be defended at WrestleMania, I believe, which is ridiculous. All right. We get a segment with Bianca Belair, which her versus Becky, I'm actually excited about. If I were to compare, look, if you were to ask me to choose one of the two women's championship matches for WrestleMania, either Bianca versus Becky or Charlotte versus Ronda, I would immediately choose Bianca versus Becky. Mainly because of the fact that has had, in my view, from what I have seen, to me, I feel like I have more interest in that match than watching Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Because, again, Ronda Rousey, her promos are absolutely terrible. Yes, I said that. And, I was for her coming back. But I'm not going to lie, man. For these past couple of weeks, these promos that she has been cutting did not make me invested whatsoever. They could have put out a freaking brawl in the parking lot, which they did, and it still did not make me interested, mainly because Ronda sucks at her promos. And, this was a common thing, even in her first WWE run, but, the thing about it is, I remember when they turned her heel before WrestleMania 35, where they had the women's triple threat main event. When they turned her heel, I'm not going to lie, Ronda cut a damn good heel promo because you really felt what she was saying. But now, since she is the babyface, holy crap, man, dude, these promos are atrocious. I am sorry. This is nothing personal against Ronda, but again, everybody's saying it, and it's absolutely true. It sounds like she does not want to be there because this is her. She's talking about her match, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be facing Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania." Blah blah blah. I'm like, can you bring some enthusiasm instead of just casually talking on the microphone? That's the problem I have, especially with Ronda Rousey. That's the problem. And do I see Ronda Rousey going over? Yeah, of course she's gonna go over. They're paying her millions of dollars. Of course they're gonna put Ronda Rousey over. It's in a way. I want Ronda Rousey to win, but at the same time, I really do not have faith in Ronda Rousey, maybe because of the fact that she again, it sounds like she does not want to be there. But Bianca Belair, going back to Bianca Belair. So she cuts a promo and talks about how 2 weeks ago she saw how low Becky Lynch can go to retain her championship, and says her confidence threatens her, and that's why she acts the way she does. Not only she tried to injure her before WrestleMania, and try to ruin her reputation, they call her the EST for a reason, and she's back on Raw like she didn't left. This has been going on since SummerSlam, and she tries everything. She tried attacking her and tried to end her career, but that did not work. What else does she got? She'll tell her. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing that will stop her from becoming the Raw Women's Champion. Becky Lynch then comes out, but when her music plays, Bianca is literally facing at the stage, but Becky comes from behind, and Bianca actually catches her, and Becky Lynch has scissors. So she has a pair of scissors. Bianca is in control. Becky gains control and hits her with the chair. Becky grabs a large pair of scissors, and she grabs Bianca's hair, and she's about to cut the ponytail of Bianca Belair, but Bianca proceeds to escape, and she hits the KOD twice on Becky Lynch, and then Bianca then grabs the scissors and cuts a little bit of the hair of Becky Lynch, and the segment ends. Overall, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the promo that Becky Lynch cut last week on Raw. I'm not going to lie. I was one of those very few people that actually liked the segment. I loved the promo that she cut. And, this segment was not bad. I actually liked what to me, like, I feel like there's more emphasis, in my opinion, with this feud, even though it's not perfect. To me, out of both women's title matches, this feud, to me, is more interesting than Charlotte versus Ronda. That match, literally nobody's excited about. Absolutely nobody. But, overall, who do I think is going to be winning between Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch? It's going to be Bianca Belair, 100%. All right. Becky at this point is backstage. Becky is pissed off. So, the interviewer comes in. Meanwhile, she doesn't even realize that Becky Lynch is, so pissed off, and she's about to ask her a dumb question. But literally, she's so pissed off that she calls Bianca a bitch, literally in the center of the camera. She goes closer to the camera, and she just immediately calls Bianca Belair a bitch. All right. Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. Or not versus Madcap Moss. Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss versus Drew McIntyre. So again, they're basically giving you the entire WrestleMania match between Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin. Granted, that is a match that nobody has interest in, but whatever. One thing I will say about this episode of Raw is they're calling it WrestleMania Raw, but I swear to God, it literally made the show worse. It made the show worse. So we got Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss versus Drew McIntyre. Corbin immediately retreats. McIntyre throws Madcap. Drew goes after Madcap. He get a belly-to-belly throw by McIntyre. McIntyre hits a neck breaker. Corbin then, who's on the apron, walks off. Drew knocks down Moss. He hits the Claymore for the win, but after Corbin after the match, when it's over, he sends him to the ring post, but then hits the end of days, and then he takes McIntyre's sword and leaves. Great. That is great. That is a great way to generate heel heat, in my opinion. That is a great way to generate heel heat. All right. Edge, one of the highlights of Raw, because he turned heel, and he's going to have a fantastic show-stealing match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania, bar none. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are absolutely going to kill it, because that's the match that's most likely going to happen. But Edge versus AJ Styles is going to be insane. I'm absolutely excited to see what happens when it comes to Edge versus AJ Styles. I'm literally one of those people that believes that I do not mind, even though Edge is a part-timer, I do not mind Edge winning the WWE Championship, mainly because of the fact that he's one of those veterans that reinvents themselves for the times. He's not like Goldberg that will just immediately get a freaking title shot and just bury somebody. No, Edge actually cares about the business. That is my opinion. But we got Edge versus not Edge versus AJ Styles. That's gonna happen at WrestleMania. But we got a promo, an Edge in a dark room on a table with a it's like a judgment room or something like that. Last week on Raw, he had a choice to make. He should give AJ a beating or let fate take its course. Says it needed to be AJ. Says that they needed each other, and he needed him to become what he became, and he is the benchmark of the WWE. They pushed each other. He will go further, and at WrestleMania, they will face each other in the match of the ages. And says at WrestleMania, it is his judgment day, and his judgment is already sealed. I saw a lot of jokes on Twitter after this segment. Like, this segment was really praised. This segment was fantastic. But the funny thing about it was everybody was posting on Twitter about the whole judgment thing, and of course Edge was actually on the cover, or he was actually the pay-per-view poster for Judgment Day 2009, which is hilarious, by the way. So like it's like coming full circle, and like I saw this meme of somebody putting like long-term storytelling, which is absolutely funny. But after that, AJ Styles is backstage, and he talks about how Edge used a lot of words for a cheap shot. And it was a month ago where he grabbed a steel chair, where he hit him twice. And then after that, it says that it changed him. It says that he got inside his head. Mission accomplished. He talks about how he wants to destroy Edge and says that his judgment is coming, but the verdict is already in, and he will beat Edge at WrestleMania. Again, this match is going to be a show stealer of a match. Guaranteed. This match is going to be absolutely amazing. And I do not mind. Honestly, I do not mind if this match that, like, I do not mind if this match is going to literally, like, cause like a feud. Like, literally after WrestleMania, I'm absolutely excited to see what happens after that. All right. We got the main event with the Usos versus RK Bro, which overall, this was a great match. It was a champion versus champion match, which, I mean, look, they talk about Survivor Series being, the one time a year Raw and SmackDown go head to head. But let's be straight up. I mean, this happens so many times. But overall, the match was great. But the bullshit thing about this match was, since this was the main event, it ended in a DQ, which pissed me off so bad. And then the DQ was caused by the Street Profits, who by the way are the baby faces. Like, they're baby faces, and they cause a DQ finish. Normally, if a DQ finish is caused, it would be caused by a heel tag team. But no, that wasn't the case. So we got the Usos versus RK Bro. Randy Orton and Jimmy Uso start. We got a couple of chops by Jimmy. We get an undercut by Randy. Riddle then tags in. We get the floating bro we double team by RK Bro. RK Bro then blocks the double super kick. The Usos then face off with Boogs and Nakamura, who are on commentary. RK Bro then hits a side slam on the Usos, both Usos. So like Randy Orton would hit side slam on one of the Usos onto the announce table, and then Riddle would do it. Then after that, once we're back from commercial break, Jimmy's in control. He works on Randy. Randy then fires back with a clothesline, but then we get a stomp to the left foot of Jimmy by Randy Orton. Riddle then tags in. We get a kick by Riddle. Riddle goes for a suplex, but then Jey Uso tags in, and he proceeds to take out Riddle. Riddle then fights back and then throws Jey Uso across. He hits the Broton on Jey. We get a cover into a 1 count. Riddle then misses a spinning heel kick, and then Jey hits a Samoan drop. Then after that, we get a cover into near fall. Jimmy then tags in. We get repeated rights by Jimmy, and then he drives the knee onto the head of Riddle. The Usos then work on Riddle after that. Jey Uso at this point is the legal man. We get a cheap shot right hand by Jimmy Uso, who is not the legal man in the match. Riddle then fights back and goes for repeated right hands, but then Jey fights back. Jimmy then tags in. He works on Riddle. Then Jey tags back. Riddle gains control. Then after that, we get a I believe he hit this move off the apron, which I completely forgot, mainly because of the fact that my notes messed up when I was typing, so my apologies for that. We get a drop kick by Jey, and then Riddle gets taken to the outside. Jimmy then sends Riddle to the timekeeper's area. We go to commercial break, and once we're back, Jey's in control. Riddle goes for a shotgun drop kick on Jey. At this point, the hot tag is made by both Randy Orton and Jimmy Uso. And then Randy goes for multiple clotheslines. He hits a power slam on Jimmy. Jey Uso then immediately goes for a roll-up, and then we get a near fall. Then Randy Orton then goes for a power slam on Jey Uso, and then he takes Jey to the middle rope, but Jimmy held on. And then Riddle then takes out Jimmy with the floating bro. Randy Orton takes him to the middle rope and hits the DDT. He sets up an RKO, but the Street Profits come in and cause a disqualification on the main event of Raw. And then what happens? A whole brawl breaks loose and the show ends. Overall thoughts, the match was great, but it pissed me off. The finish pissed me off. I mean, how the hell, if you're going to have a main event, which is a great match, by the way, this is a common occurrence on WWE television. Like, literally, they have a bomb-ass match. Like, they have a match that is so good on television, and then it has to end in a DQ. Like, I swear to God, man, that is ridiculous. I mean, that happened with Edge and AJ Styles which, I mean, not Edge and AJ Styles, AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, which I kind of understood, but at the same time, I mean, like, you could have just had a clean finish, but whatever. I mean, it made no sense, but I mean, this is literally to build up. Your closing segment on the show is literally a feud for the Raw Tag Team Championship, which is not going to be the main event of WrestleMania. But yeah, that was Raw. Overall, Raw was not a good go-home show, in my opinion. Really, does this get me hyped for WrestleMania? Look, I'm excited for WrestleMania because of the fact that it's WrestleMania. But for the past couple of years, WrestleMania, in my opinion, has been a shell of its former self. Like, to me, WrestleMania is just a show, and they put more emphasis in the freaking Saudi Arabia stadium shows. That is just me. I do not know why. To me, like, WrestleMania just feels like another, like, show. And hopefully that is not going to be the case. I mean, there's a lot of big things that are going to be happening at WrestleMania. There are some matches that I'm actually really excited about. And, of course, we got Cody Rhodes coming in. But still, I mean, WrestleMania, I mean, to me, has kind of dwindled for the past couple of years. And it's safe to say that you all agree with me with that. But, yeah, overall, this go-home show for WrestleMania was not really that good. Is SmackDown going to be the same? Most likely, probably, yeah. But, yeah, that was my Raw review from March 28th, 2022. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, right here on YouTube. And as always, it is Broken Havoc, signing out.